When Susan Lordy introduced Willow Tree, her hope was to create a pure form with no extraneous details, not even a face. She wants to communicate emotion through gesture only, keeping the pieces very open to interpretation. This openness allows you to see who or what you want. The setup of the Willow Tree Nativity is open to interpretation also. There is no right or wrong way. Over the years, Susan has added new figures and new architectural elements, so now there are many variations. In this video, I'd like to show you different interpretations of the Willow Tree Nativity to fit spaces large and small using different figures and backdrops. In its simplest form, we have the Nativity and Metal Star backdrop. When Susan first carved this 6-piece set, she wanted to show the humanity of the Holy Family. Mary as mother, Joseph as protector. What I like is the intimacy of this grouping. Mary holds baby Jesus, showing her mother's instinct to keep her newborn safe and warm. And Joseph stands behind her as the anchor of the family. I like how the pieces relate to each other, the way the curve of the donkey's back and the curve of the little sheep that's snugged up against Mary create kind of this little circle around the Holy Family as the focus. So now we've added the creche to the scene. The design of the creche is stately and regal, yet the materials are humble. It's barn wood with indications of little nail heads that have rusted. There's a nice little alcove of protection for the Holy Family, but then it opens up and stair steps down to welcome other figures, like the wise men. You can just add them here as if they're walking up in procession. So now I've added more pieces to the display. Shepherd and stable animals, ox and goat, and the Zampogniero. The Zampogniero is a really special piece that references a unique musical tradition. So I like to build my display symmetrically. Over here with the wise men, I like to add the camel, adjust his rope here, and you can see I've got the shepherds and their animals on the other side. I like to add a second metal star backdrop. Kind of keeps a nice order to the scene. You can even add a piece on top of the creche. This is Angel of Prayer, which many of you may have. She looks nice perched up on top. Or you can move her down to the ground facing the Holy Family. And in her place, I like to put blessings, which has a really nice gesture of welcoming and keeps that symmetry. So you can keep building this wider and wider and just always keeping the focus on the Holy Family. The Nativity Angels, Dance of Life and Song of Joy, elevate the visual presence of the display. Their dresses have intricate carvings, and their sculptural forms add movement to the scene. To me, they're really quite celebratory. So, a recent addition to the Nativity is the tree silhouette. Sue was inspired by sunlight coming through tree canopies and the patterns that it created. She designed birds, flowers, pomegranates as symbols of life into her design. The piece is made of pierced metal, and you can see that it adds nice color and pattern to the Nativity. Here are some other ways to personalize your Nativity. I really like the animals that Susan carves, so my Nativity includes a lot of them. There's so much personality in their stance and gestures. And I like the metaphor of a lamb for peace, the shepherds as peacemakers. If you have other Willow Tree angels and figures, add them in to enhance your display. For those who like to leave up their nativity year-round, this more minimal display feels joyful in its simplicity. I hope I've given you some new ideas for your willow tree display. Try out different groupings and what works for your home. The possibilities are endless. Make it personal to your family's tradition.